Hey, welcome back, guys. All right, this is going to be a today's topic video. It is going to be for the 11th. Normally I post these guys at midnight, but I thought I would do it live, do it just a little bit early. This will be the last one that I post tonight, but I'll see you guys tomorrow very early in the signs and symbols video that breaks. I started having those come out at about 6 a.m. instead of 5 a.m. But let's take a look for the 11th. I've got the name Lucy, Lucien, like LU names, Lulu, uh, even like a Lorraine, but L names are in my head right now. Don't ask me why. But specifically Lucy, or like a Lulu, like a nickname or something. We have got the Six of Swords. I don't know if somebody is moving forward, moving beyond something. Electro Beats, so great to see you. Two of Pentacles. Seven of Wands in the reverse. Okay, so something is coming back into a graceful, balanced energy for someone on the 11th, which is great. There's no more obstacles. They're really working through something. This all feels like it's going to be all right. I've made my plans. I'm departing from one thing. I can see the path ahead. There really is no obstacle. I feel pretty good about this. I feel like everything is clicking. Everything is working. We've got this Ace of Swords and we have an Ace of Wands. Okay, so this is what a character wants. I don't know who they are just yet. We have a feminine, but we also have a masculine showing up here. We have no court cards or major arcana yet. So we know this is a day for like a journey. It's not like the big ticket items, at least not yet. Lavender Moon, hallelujah. So great to see everyone. Okay, let's take a closer look. We've got a Page of Coins. We have a Three of Swords, and now we have the Devil. Okay, so hang on, because everything was going pretty smooth. Everything was going pretty good, and then we get this completely different energy, and we finally get a major arcana here. So we're going to go ahead and break this and say that we're dealing with two completely different people on the 11th. The first character could be a feminine, even though I don't read for genders. They might be in the feminine energy, and they are moving forward comfortably. She may be a dancer or have done ballet at some point in time, but she could also do a bonsai tree or something. But she is feeling like, you know what, light of heart. There's really no obstacles for me anymore. I'm able to possibly let go of somebody who at one point they may have seemed like they were almost hiding from me and I had to go find them all the time, but I don't look for them anymore. I'm all right with this. I really have moved on. My life has changed. I'm a lot different than I used to be. There's a lot of in fact, I'm happy about this. I'm happy that I'm cutting away the memory of somebody, and I'm feeling pretty passionate about the next chapter of my life. So I feel like she has wanted to cut the memory of somebody out of her mind so she could move on with peace. Okay. However, the 11th, and keep in mind, anytime we have an 11, it's 1-1. It's like two things that are identical. So maybe that's why we have to have two different people in this storyline, because on the flip side of things, we have a masculine who is devastated, heartbroken over a feminine. We have somebody that is like wishing for some stroke of good luck where maybe they would hear from her, but they're wishing she would reach out to them and alleviate some of their heartbreak. They seem to be having a very bad day, actually, with that Devil there. I don't know. Let me see a little bit more. Why do we have this? Hi, everyone. So great to see you all. We've got a King of Pentacles in the reverse. The Devil is there because they still are either afraid to reach out, or they're in this energy of, I don't know, maybe they've lost a lot of money. Maybe they're having a bad day overall. But normally this is like a stingy person. I mean, maybe they're just having a bad day because A, they miss this feminine, but B, they may have a very toxic boss, somebody who is cheating them or not treating them fairly. Judgment and Empress, it almost feels like they're on their crummy day, they're kind of thinking if only she would reach out to me, and then that would lift my spirits up. If only she would basically kind of be that hand that reaches out. I don't know if they've ever prayed before, but I think that they are having a really bad day. This masculine's having a really bad day in their personal life, their work life, and they're thinking to compound that and make it even worse, they're really missing this feminine, devastated over her. And it's like, if only she would reach out to me, like everything would be so much better. If only she like invited me into her world, if only she would come rescue me, if she would call me, ask me to come to her, ask me to join her in her world, I would do it in a minute. There's nothing about the world that this person is in right now that they're enjoying. They don't have her, and they seem to have a very toxic environment around them, and they have somebody very stingy around them or a crummy job. I almost feel like this person would literally like move to be with her on a dime if only she would call. Okay, but why do you think that she wouldn't call you? I guess we should start there. Sun in the reverse. There was an absence of joy and happiness. Let's move over here one more time to her and change decks. Feminine, we saw you moving on calmly. We saw you actually feeling better. We saw you in the energy of like, okay, my life's getting better. I keep making like gravitational changes where I'm moving toward calmer. I'm moving toward better. I'm feeling more at ease. I don't feel like I have to hunt for somebody, chase for somebody. I feel like this is where I want to be. I want to be me again. I want to not cling to something. So let me just ask, Feminine, how do you feel about this person who I think is wishing so much to hear from you? Eight of Wands sideways. She may feel a funny little tug somewhere in the pit of her stomach about like, it's so weird because I almost wouldn't be surprised if I heard from them today. This is sideways. It's like, I almost get this feeling that either they wish that they could show up on my doorstep, or they wish that they could be where I am, or this is kind of weird because she feels some kind of like energy from them. World card. She might just be saying, isn't that always the way it goes? You know, just when you're ready to start a brand new cycle, that's of course the day that you hear from somebody from the cycle that you're ending. Just, you know how serendipitously those things always seem to happen, you know? It's like the law of the universe. Right as I'm about to change things, wouldn't it be the day that they suddenly call me or reach out to me? Do you have any inkling to call him? The Fool. Kind of feels like she's saying I'd be fool if I did, but I can't help but think, does the thought of them flit through her mind to where it almost, I think it's because they wish to hear from her so badly that it might flit through her mind. And we already have the Eight of Wands sideways, so we know that she's thinking of them. The Fool is like this weird leap of faith. Knight of Swords, there is some, look, she's actually like tempted, but I don't know if it's tempted with a thought process or if it's like, oh my God, I almost accidentally dialed their number. Because this is like a sudden, like impulsive reaction, action. Like it almost feels like there's like lightning bolts of thoughts of them going through her mind, you know, just flashing through her mind. I don't see her actually necessarily doing anything, but it's like it flits through her brain. But I think it's because he's over here more or less calling out to her like, I've never needed to hear from you more than I do right now. I mean, I don't know. In this storyline, maybe maybe there's a reason for this. Okay, but we have the Justice card sideways, and this is on his side now. Ask Alicia, you're adorable. It's so good to see you. How are you, beauty? We got the Three of Cups upright. Sorry, somebody's comment just caught my eye and I'm busting up. We got a Three of Cups. We got a King of Pentacles. We got the Seven of Wands. We got the Four of Swords. Okay, so the only problem here is that obviously something was handled wrong, right? And it's like they both are aware of that. There was something that was not handled nicely. There was a karmic injustice here. Now, was there a third party? Possibly. There's that King of Pentacles again. We have the King of Pentacles in the reverse. Now we have this King of Pentacles upright. We have them feeling like they've been trapped, like they were in a jail cell. We see them aware that maybe they hurt her and she had to heal. But it almost feels like this person is trying to to say, like, I know I don't deserve to talk to her because I know I did her wrong. I know I basically put her in a third party. I get a very strong father figure on this card. This is not him. He is this character right here. I don't know why this feels like somebody who let himself get bullied or pushed around into, like, essentially staying away from this empress that he actually wishes so much he could be with, but it feels like he got bullied or pushed around to stay away from her, even though that's not what he wanted to do. Remember, we already had that same Seven of Wands card, but it's where she was saying, I'm moving on from somebody that, I don't want to have to chase somebody around. And this is somebody who was hiding. In this case, it's like a dragon who's hiding with all his gold. I know this is going to sound really awful, but this is an awful card, so it makes sense that we'd have kind of an awful message. If they had, like, let's say, a really bad counsel coming from somebody that they trusted at one point in time. King of Pentacles, let's say it was a father figure, and the father figure was like, whoa, what are you doing dating her? She's only after you for your money, right? She knows that whatever, you're loaded, we're loaded, we got all this money. So don't date her. Go date other people, because, there's, you can have your pick of whomever. Don't date her. She probably just wants you for the money. And maybe they let that get in their head. And it was like, I don't actually believe that about her, but Big Papa says, I shouldn't be with her. And if Big Papa doesn't agree, doesn't approve, says I should go date somebody else, I guess I got to listen to Big Papa. They're pushing somebody else in front of me. So I'm going to go ahead and hurt her, the person that I actually love, the person that I actually wish I was with, but I'm going to go ahead and let this become the jail cell that keeps me away from her, because somebody that I trust told me something else. And that's maybe why we have that Justice card sideways, because it's like, look, maybe they had, a head trip played on them with somebody they trusted giving them really bad advice. But on the other hand, we can't let them kind of get away with that and say, well, it's not their fault because you acted on somebody's advice. I mean, come on. You hurt somebody, and you know that you hurt somebody, because she's over here on the moon, kind of like devastated. It's like you left her high and dry. And now you're over here weeping over her. We've been getting some pretty tough messages today. I have to be honest. I'm recording this on Sunday, and I had, like, even on Tarot Dog, I had like a really tough message. And then there were like 2 others today where it was like characters that made really bad choices in the past are like, maybe because we're coming to the end of Mercury retrograde, and it's like they're reliving their past mistakes. And it's like, how do I undo some of the mistakes that I've made? Because now I'm the one suffering from my own poor choices. And I feel like that is like there's like this reckoning energy going on today in so many of the stories that I had. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. We keep getting these terrible cards, these terrible messages. But it's only terrible in the sense that characters that didn't either have the courage to choose what their heart really wanted, they were persuaded away by money, or in this case, looks like bad advice from somebody who turns out to have been very toxic, right? That King of Pentacles was not giving good advice. That King of Pentacles, in fact, was jealous. Maybe that King of Pentacles even was jealous of his, if this is like a father-son relationship, I'm wondering if a father was jealous of his own son because he's toxic and he didn't want his son to go and be happy. So it's like, no, I'm going to tell my kid not to get with somebody that I can tell he's in love with, because maybe I didn't go after who I was in love with. So I can't see him do better than I did. I don't know. There's something here about, like, I do. The reason I have some sympathy for him is because why are you in a jail cell that you didn't want to be in, but you could never bend the bars far enough to get yourself free? And although we can still say, yeah, but he's responsible for listening to whomever told him to go get with other people instead of the woman that he loved. Okay, but there's also a certain amount of like manipulation and power struggle that comes in when you think you're dealing with somebody that maybe you believe is older and wiser and supposed to be, a good source of powerful advice. And it's Look, I just feel like he got played. So I think that some of this, we have to bring that into the story because his card is sideways. He wasn't a total villain himself. And he wasn't somebody who was just like, oh yeah, anything anybody tells me, I'll just, totally shaft other people because somebody else told me I should. I don't think it was that simple. I think this is maybe when you get set up your whole life to be manipulated, I just feel like we have to give him some slack on that. So, and at this point, like, it's freaking miserable because, and I feel sad for anybody who's freaking miserable, even if it was of their own making with, some shove from some, toxic individuals. But it feels like he's kind of in a place where he's lost a lot. Seeing somebody he trusted as the toxic individual they actually are, recognizing that the person he actually loves, that Empress, is the one that he's lost through his own poor choices and, listening to terrible advice, wishing that the person he actually loved would somehow reach out to him, but knowing it's like there wasn't not really any happiness here because look at the way this thing went down. That would be a very unpleasant place for any character to be. Like, I'm uncomfortable for this character right now. And I'm like, oh, this is so tough. So, immediately what I want to say is, all right, we can live with our mistakes, or we can say, I made these horrible mistakes and I need to fix them. And that's, I think, always the best way to look at stuff. If we're that uncomfortable, then there's never been a better motivation for change. If he is this unhappy right now, and he knows exactly what he's unhappy about, and he knows exactly who he would want to talk to, then you need to get your butt in gear and start taking some accountability and start fixing some things in your life. You got some bad advice. That king was toxic now. You love her. You did her dirty. Now you start fixing it. And I think, well, let's give him the power to do that, right? Because he has the power. Now, we know over here, he is mostly calling out to her, like, energetically, and she is literally sensing it. She is picking up what he's putting out. This is so weird, but I almost feel like he wants to talk to me. He pops into my head. God, I can't help it. It feels so weird. It feels like I'm about to hear from him, or it feels like I almost practically picked up the phone expecting to see a message from him, or, it's crazy because his longing for her is definitely coming through. Longing is in that energy connection is one thing, but how about some action? How about some, picking up taking charge of things? It's time you pick up the tab on this one, fella. That's how I would look at this. Like, I'm cheering for him. I may not sound like it, but I am cheering for him to, like, come on, fix this. You can take better action. You don't have to be sad. You can make this better. We got the Princess of Wands. Again, it's like he's projecting. Her back is still turned to him. He is like, I feel all these vibes. I feel this spark. I'm starting to wonder. We have a little 10-mile-an-hour sign here. So he's not operating on all cylinders. He's not going too fast with his thought processes. Hi, everyone. 9 of Pentacles. But he's thinking about her with this spark, and then also thinking she's amazing and she's got her act together, and she's 9 of Pentacling her way through life. She's abundant. She doesn't need anybody. She probably wouldn't want to hear from me. Okay, I don't really want to hear you boohoo. I'm so sorry. I've been such a jerk in these stories lately because I'm like, help yourself get this back on track. Take your power back. Come on, character. I'm rooting for you. But I'm not going to cut you slack when you keep finding ways to say, no, she's so great, she probably wouldn't want to hear from me. Then you don't want her bad enough. That's all I can say, because you're still doing nothing to course correct things, but you want her to come and find you. She's moving on. You chose somebody instead of her, or listened to bad advice over your heart. So you don't have a right to think she's going to show up and rescue you. I'm sorry, but it's not going to happen. And it's better to deal with facts. Well, I know facts is their fictional stories, right? But why would you think she's going to come and try to come find you when you already made your choice and seemingly left her out in the cold? Is kind of what I got out of this whole story. Okay, so good. We're finally at that death card. Okay, so it is time to change things. It is time to change things. Ask Alicia, you angel. Oh my God. Thank you so much, sweetheart. That is so incredibly generous. Thank you, baby. You have a great week also, love. Thank you so much. We have a Prince of Swords in the reverse. I can see that they're saying, but I don't know how we'd fix this quickly. Well, nobody said you could fix it quick. You made a pretty big mistake. Some things haven't gone real well. You kind of have hit a rock bottom place. And when we make big messes, it takes a while to clean stuff up. I mean, think about it. I just had this happen to me. Some half and half in my fridge. Oh, when half and half spills, it is so thick. It is not like even like milk. It is half and half. It's part cream. So what a mess that was. It was all over the fridge. It was outside of the fridge. And Aries just looked at it like, you made a mess, mama. He doesn't drink stuff like that. He doesn't come to clean up. He just stares at me and is like, wow, what'd you do? But it takes a while to clean everything. And you don't want that, you don't want to miss a spot because then you got rotting milk product in your house. So it takes a long time to clean, and you got to clean everything in your damn fridge. Well, same thing in life. You make a big old mess. It's going to take some time to clean it up. It's not going to be fast. So if he keeps wanting fast turnarounds, that's again not very realistic. Just like it's not realistic that she's going to come racing in to get you and pull you out of the hell of your own making. You have to take some initiative here, and you can do it. He can do it, but it won't be fast. We have the Chariot also sideways. Okay, so we see him going, so it won't be fast, but I could. Now it becomes, do I want to? Do I want to put in the effort? Look, we got 2 clocks on that Chariot card. And we have the Hanged Man. He's really tempted to just keep wallowing in unfairness. I really hope you don't do this, character. I really hope you don't. That seems mean to do to yourself. We have the Tower sideways. Can I make this change? What is a change? Is it the ego? Are you afraid to reach out to her? Part of him, this is so weird because the Tower would normally be like a collapse of an ego, right? But it's sideways. Like, I don't know if I want to let go of my ego. But here's the thing. You already kind of don't have a whole lot of ego to let go of because you already kind of got played and you know it. You already kind of got pushed into staying away from the person that you loved by somebody else that was toxic and manipulated you. So there's not a whole lot to be like, oh, I can't afford to lose my pride on this. Losing your pride, you hurt somebody that you loved. If you don't have the humbleness, the desire to make it right, because you would feel embarrassed coming back to say, my God, I'm so sorry that I let somebody twist my head up, tell me I should stay away from you, then I would not question whether or not it's their pride. I would say, are you sure that you really love another person? If you don't have it in you to humble yourself for someone that you already hurt and did dirty, because it'd be embarrassing to come in and say, this is what happened. I mean, I would think it'd be harder to carry this burden than it would be to humble yourself and say, this is how I messed up with us, I don't know, that makes me question, maybe this person has way more selfish pride or something. Judgment. Oh, I'm being pretty judgy here. I am. In this story, I'm really trying to understand why these cards are coming out the way they are. And it's a kind of a complex character, but they are casting judgment on themselves. So I think I just said that wrong. My interpretation was kind of one-dimensional, because this actually says, are you kidding me? It's not that they have this ego that's so puffed up that they can't afford to lose. It's that they've judged themselves so harshly. It's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to come in and tell her, hey, listen, this is the way I behaved, because somebody told me I should somehow stay away from you, and I let my mind get twisted, and I didn't have, whatever it took for me to stand up for what I actually wanted. They've judged themselves for this, and they imagine she would judge them the same way they might be judging themselves, which is like, it's not like I'm going to get a pass for this. So it's actually not that they have such an ego. It's more like they've judged themselves so harshly. So they're really down on themselves right now, too. Now I can understand why they're wishing for a miracle. Like, God, I wish she would reach out to me. If she would reach out to me, like, I would literally drop everything. I would move to be where she is. I would go where she is. If only she would like come in and somehow rescue me. I can see now why they have like this fantasy. Is not that they're entitled and thinking they deserve that. It's more just like that's kind of, they're out of luck for something realistically changing, is what they think, because they judge themselves so harshly for what's happened. So now they're just on flights of fantasy. I don't think this is hopeless. I think that this character needs to quit judging themselves so harshly. Also, getting manipulated is, especially if somebody was really, really, really good at manipulating him. I mean, there's a reason he's in this jail cell. Lifelong manipulation has, can make the strongest of minds, strongest of hearts, like doubt what they themselves know. And so I'm just feeling like for him to judge himself that harsh. Look, obviously she cares about him still, because she wouldn't be able to pick up on these vibes from him unless she still felt some kind of a connection to him. So there had to have been a real bond that was genuinely shared between the two of them for her to be picking up his vibe even now, which to me says, then you still have a connection to her. As much as she's moving on, letting this go, in truth, she must have cared a great deal for you and you for her, however badly this thing went. We have the Star, and we have the Four of Wands, and we have all these clocks. That's all it is clock and clock and clock and clock on this card. The Star is all about healing. It is way over time to try to fix this and heal this. But, I kind of feel like him, like, taking this step forward in his own life to begin healing. Because, I mean, on one hand, like, he's been done wrong, too. Like, he's been a victim of whatever that devil person was. He's been a victim too, so he has healing to do too. And then he, in turn, because of the manipulation he went through, stayed away from her. Maybe it was all for the best, though, if we step back a little further and say, in the big picture, if he had somebody puppeting him and did not know it, let's say, for example, he did go ahead and try to stay with her while this person that he thought he admired was still talking smack in his ear. Imagine how miserable their relationship could have been. Imagine how unhappy, like, she might have had a way rougher time if he had tried to stay with her and that toxic person was still talking in their ear. Sometimes we get protected. Sometimes the only way something will work is if the whole thing runs its course. I'm just saying, this is one of those very difficult and delicate situations. Nothing is so simple in this, right? This storyline is not an easy one for me to tell because we've got so many dimensions to it. We do have a villain in this, and villains make a muck of things. They really do. And that's what we see here. But the villain has been found out. So now we don't have to deal with the villain anymore. So now we can start to repair things. And it is long overdue to start healing, both for him. And then I think part of his healing would be to actually heal some things with her as well. Look, this doesn't mean that they're going to live happily ever after and date and fall in love again. But what if just trying to set things right? It's interesting how over time, sometimes we gain greater perspectives. Sometimes we mature and we can look back at a situation and somebody that we dealt with, and we can understand where they might have been at. I'm thinking primarily on her part. The fact that she still feels a connection to them, even as she's releasing them, and says, no, I'm happy to move on. Like, I don't want to have to chase somebody who hid from me. She already has kind of worked through a lot of things. But obviously there's still this connection. And I kind of think that she may be able to comprehend a heck of a lot more, like what kind of, mind fuckery they went through. Sometimes we have great capacity to understand situations and have compassion for what other people go through, especially with this Four of Wands, with all the clocks. I feel like this has been maybe a couple years or something where she's had time to kind of evaluate stuff. She's pretty healed, but I think that healing things with her to a certain extent, I mean, to whatever extent that is, would also be a big step to them healing things. I don't think they need to be rescued so much as they have to like allow themselves to start to heal, because they were a victim too of, whatever that devil, that sabotage energy was. So look, I think this is one of those stories that brings up like a ton of compassion and a ton of like, being able to look at something from different lenses that, normally would be like, oh, that sucks. You didn't treat her well, so guess what? Screw you forever and always. That's just not the way this goes. And that's not really the way life goes either. Things are not usually quite so cut and dried. Sometimes they are, but lots of times those are the stories that we get. We get the complicated ones on my channel. Eight of Swords. I think the final message here is it would at least be better to never leave stuck energy anywhere. Not for us, not for other people. Why make life harder? Life is already hard, but it's also beautiful. But why ever leave anything angry or painful or stagnated if there's a chance to make anything at all better with just a little bit of compassion or with a little bit of dialogue? If we have any opportunity in life to ever make anything better for us, for others, and it really doesn't cost much more to us than maybe some compassion, maybe some conversation, then isn't it worth it? I don't know. This Eight of Swords says if this is going to be a sticking point for the two of them, don't let this thing linger. Have the conversation, interact with compassion. But otherwise, what a waste of, good emotions and possibly healing, because the healing is right there. Like there's a lot of potential for healing in this, or understanding at least, for him, for her. It doesn't mean that these two get back together and have a happily ever after. I don't know that I see any of that here, but I do love that concept. In the big scheme of our life, do we ever want to leave things painful, sharp, or stagnated when they don't actually have to be? Because we don't see her, in this tragedy. We don't see her saying, oh my God, it was the worst experience of my life. This person was a total villain. They tried to cause me grief. We don't see that. We see her saying, it's all right that I'm moving on. I don't want to have to chase somebody. That is not the same thing as saying, oh, they did me dirty. They intentionally messed with my mind, blah, blah, blah. He's the one who actually had somebody intentionally mess with his mind. I kind of think in this storyline, we can maybe understand why both characters, we can kind of like at least root for to get beyond this or get beyond anything that hurts. And if that is possible on the 11th, why on the 11th though? Why is this potentially the day? Is it just because she's at that place where she's moving on and he's at that place where it's like everything is hitting so hard? Is it because these two, like I said at the beginning, the 11s, it's 1 and 1. Is it because they are neck and neck? Is it because their energies are still connected? Is it because they're both still side by side? We have the Princess of Cups. It's a Page of Cups. It's in the reverse. Normally this would be the card of like apologies. This is like the card where, because it's in the reverse, it's not about apologies. It's about understanding. An apology won't fix this, right? Saying I'm sorry won't actually undo what's already been done. So it's not about apologies as much as it is about comprehension, is I guess the way I would say this. He knows an apology won't work to fix this, because he already said with the Judgment card, he's judged himself so harsh for all this. He can't say I'm sorry and think that this is going to undo it. But This isn't about undoing things after all. It's about accepting what is and why it went this way. It's not even that this person doesn't feel sorry. They do, but it's just a sorry doesn't fix certain things. Instead, we have to like understand it, is what I think this storyline is hinting. We've got the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, and it's definitely time to like land the plane. Let's just go ahead and get to the point where it's like, hey, I really don't want to carry this story anymore. I really want to be done with this. I really want to get beyond this. And if that means understanding what happened and you know, seeing it for what it is, there isn't really any more to this. This is already played out. Now it's what we do moving forward. Now it's more about how do we want to live our lives moving forward? Do we want to harbor any hard feelings? And I think on the 11th, it's like, no, let's do everything we can to put a stop to, at some point, everybody has to stop, you know, warring with each other, fighting with each other. At some point, these little monkeys are the hear no, speak no, see no evil. And I just kind of feel like there's no more to be had from this story by perpetuating, you know, this hurt or this pain or this what's already gone on. So let's just look to the future now. But first, let's accept whatever did happen and understand it, and then look to the future. I kind of really like that. It's a different energy. It is a way to let go in a very different way. It doesn't require like, let me give forgivenesses, let me give passes. It's more just let me understand how this got all mixed up and twisted up. And then not carrying like bitterness and pain. I don't know. That could allow a lot of healing to come in, and that could also allow a new beginning in a completely unexpected way. All right. I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. Thank you guys so much. Really good to see you. Again, thank you so much, Ask Alicia. Calm C. Hey. Yes. Well said. Well said. Yes. RS loves such a great point. Yeah. 1 + 1 is 2 of cups. Hallelujah. I love the word punk. You guys, thanks again. Zion, hi, hun. SLH, hey. Maybe that was the best way to say it. Yeah. Like the shadow work stuff, Zion's gamming. Thank you for adding that in. Ashley Michelle, Empress Unicorn, Victoria Rose Noir. So nice to see everybody. Deborah Abshire, hi, sweetheart. Great to see you. Tack Ellis, Jay Sabran, Fallen Raven. Good evening, everybody. I love it. Alicia, you got your popcorn out. We've had some lengthy ones lately, for sure. Alana Williams. Hey, darling. Hey, Jeb. Delighted you made it. Thank you for being here, hon. Sharina Craig. Lauren Coe. Annette Summersby. Dana, how are you, hon? Hi, Ashley. Love is legendary. Mancy Luthra. Awesome to see you, honey. And again, Electra Beast, you were first in the house, followed by Lavender Moon, and of course, Hallelujah and Calm Sea. You guys, thanks again. It's so great to catch everybody. All right. Oh, wonderful to see you down there, S. Cox. Thank you guys for giving it a thumbs up. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Oh, Lori, babe, I'm so sorry. You're hurting. I'm so sorry, honey. I hope that you have some relief from that. Rob Lav, thank you for being here. All right, you guys. Take care. I will see you tomorrow. RS Love, I couldn't agree more. I feel so lucky to have such a lovely community around us. Thank you, guys. Bye for now. Night, Lori. I hope you get some good sleep, sweetheart. You deserve it. Bye.